Welcome to Bledsoe County Schools remote virtual learning meeting. This is our first one today. We have 3 scheduled today. I'm Mr. Ellis, the Director of Schools, and I want to just go over a couple of simple requirements that you're going to hear. The Department of Education has put these requirements out for online learning. Students in the classroom are required to attend 7 hours of school. It's the same for online students also. You will need to sign in by 8 a.m. for attendance reasons. And to get credit for attending that day, you will be required to complete that day's assignment. You will follow the same attendance rules, and we'll go over those rules as students go into the classroom. And you must have a device and internet access, and we will ask you to verify this. We also ask you to understand that there will be questions today we don't have the answers to yet. This is usually a 6 to 9 month process to start an online school. Today marks the start of week 5 for us. So that's how long we've been doing this. So please bear with us. There will be obstacles we have to overcome. We will work to solve them and give your child a quality education. And we're going to do the best we can, and just realize we're learning on the go. We have a short video that we've made that you may not have seen. We're going to play that, and then we'll have some other speakers.
Bledsoe County Schools reopening plan for the 2021 school year.
Hello everyone, I'm Mr. Ellis, Superintendent of the Bledsoe County School System. It is my number one priority to take the necessary measures in order to keep the students, faculty, and staff safe during the 2020-21 school year. The Bledsoe County School System is working diligently with local health professionals to make sure we're following up-to-date guidelines to the best of our ability. As a leader of Bledsoe County Schools, we will be using 5 guiding principles as we continue on with the planning, decision-making, execution of the work of returning to school. We will be transparent. We will share what we know and what we don't know. We will be clear about what we can control and what's outside our control. We will be equitable. We will center decisions on what is best for all students, family, and educators, especially those most impacted by the educational inequities of COVID-19. We will listen. We will bring together diverse stakeholders and experts to understand the realities on the ground and surface creative solutions. We will put safety first. We will leverage science, data, and public health leadership to inform the choices we make. We will be decisive. Given the size and scope of the challenge, we must be more deliberate and make tough choices. We will make mistakes, and we will adapt quickly as variables on the ground change. To effectively communicate and be transparent with students and families of the community, we will be sharing an informational video of the new safety protocols that will be in place as your child starts the upcoming 2020-21 school year. Thank you.
Bledsoe County Schools transportation plan.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Brian Turner, the Transportation Supervisor for Bledsoe County Schools. Parents, we're asking for your help with your children. Due to safety concerns with the Department of Transportation, we will be unable to do temperature checks with your child as they enter on the bus. So we're asking you to check temperatures before you bring your child to the bus stop or put them on the bus. If your child is running a fever of 100.4 or more, we're asking that you keep them out and report that to your school principal and school nurse. And I'm here to talk to you today about riding a bus for the 2020-2021 school year. I want to start by saying that all students who ride the bus will be required to wear a mask. Mask and hand sanitizer will be provided for all students. If you'll notice along the bus windows here, we've got all the windows down. As long as weather permitting, we're going to have all windows down on all buses for airflow, to help the airflow on the bus. We've also got our drivers that will be driving their routes in a normal fashion, but the way we're going to load the bus is different than what we're used to. In our morning routes, when the bus drivers make their first pickup, the first students on the bus will go all the way to the rear of the bus. They will sit in the last seat at the very rear, back here. We will then, the next bus stop, if you're in the same family, you will sit in a seat together, okay? It doesn't matter whether you're middle, high, elementary. If you're in the same family, we're going to sit in a seat together. Then we're going to skip one seat up and we're going to seat the next stop. We're going to skip those seats. As we fill to the front of the bus, If it gets full, then we'll go back and start seating in between those seats. You will be dedicated to an assigned seat. You will be required to sit in that seat. The bus drivers will give you that assigned seat after they see how many is going to be riding the bus with them. So, different from what we're used to on riding the bus, but just know that it is going to look different. When we get to the schools, whether it be the elementary, middle, or high school, wherever you may be riding the bus to, you're going to unload the bus front to back. We're not just going to pile up and get in line. The driver's going to tell you, front seat you can go, and we're going to unload just like that. A school employee will meet you at the school to get you off the bus in the morning, okay? Whatever assigned seat you're on in the morning, that's the same assigned seat you ride in the evening route too. So remember, once you get your assigned seat, the drivers will be making sure you are in your assigned seat. As you can notice, like I said, we're riding with the windows down for the airflow. When we're seating in our seating charts, we are going to try to leave the seat directly behind the bus driver empty, okay, when all possible. And like I said, in all our routes, this seat will be dedicated with no one in it. The hand sanitizer and mask will be placed at the front of the bus. You will be able to get those when you enter. If you have a mask from home, we encourage you can bring it, but we will have mask and hand sanitizer provided. I want to talk to you a little bit about what's going on after the students unload from the bus. We will be disinfecting and cleaning the buses after every route, morning and evening. I'll give you a small demonstration. This is what we have to clean the buses with here at the bus garage. After the morning run, all bus drivers will be required to report to the bus garage to do a disinfecting of their bus. This is what they call an electrostatic cleaner. It puts a positive charge on the cleaner to help clean the bus faster. We can disinfect this bus in about 2 to 5 minutes. This will be performed after every route. So in the morning times, it will be done. After the evening routes, the drivers that do not come back to the garage, that stay at home, they will have a disinfecting agent at their house that they will have to clean after the evening run. So buses will be disinfected every time. If you have any questions, feel free to call the Board of Education or the school bus garage if you have questions about bus routes and bus stops and the time of pickups. And we'll be glad to help you any way we can.
Health Services Plan for Bledsoe County Schools. I'm Michelle Raines, Nursing Supervisor and Coordinated School Health Director for Bledsoe County Schools. Before leaving home, we are encouraging parents to check their child's temperature. If you have a fever of 100.4 or greater, it is encouraged you to keep your child at home. Face masks will be highly encouraged. If your child's temperature is 100.4 or greater, or if you and your child answer yes to any of the following questions, please keep your child at home. Have you been in close contact with a person with a confirmed diagnosis of COVID-19 within the past 14 days? Have you had an unusual cough or shortness of breath? Have you had a sore throat or other flu-like symptoms? Have you had a new loss of taste or smell? Have you had vomiting or diarrhea in the last 24 hours? Or do you have an unexplained rash? Entering campus. All school buildings will open at 7:10 a.m. to students. Students will not be allowed to enter the building until after this time. When students arrive at school, there will be designated entrances into the buildings that an adult will take your child's temperature and hand sanitizer will be provided. At some select schools, car rider temperatures will be taken before exiting the vehicle. At the high school, car riders' temperatures will be taken at the door. Bus riders' temperatures will be taken upon exiting the bus. Staff members will be required to wear a mask. Nutrition Plan for Bledsoe County Schools.
Hello, I'm Diane Campbell, the Nutrition Supervisor.
I'm Christy Owens, the School Nutrition Field Manager, and we're just going to kind of talk about and let you know what lunch and breakfast is going to look like in the year. It's going to be a little bit different this year. The good thing is we still provide free meals of no charge to all students in Bledsoe County, free lunch and free breakfast. Our breakfast will be grab and go options. The kids will grab a bag and take it back to the classroom or take it to their designated spot. The lunch, they will have a hot and cold option they can choose from to decide whether they want hot lunch or cold lunch. It's a grab and go also. They will not be going through the serving lines and doing any self-serve options right now. That's if all kids are going to school.
Students getting ill while on campus. There is one assigned nurse to every school building. When students fall ill at school, that child will be sent to the nurse and will be placed in a safe, designated area for treatment. They will be in a direct supervision of either a nurse or another adult. A mask will be placed on the student until a parent or guardian picks up the child. If the student needs emergent medical attention and is seriously ill, 911 will be called along with a parent guardian. If the student is stable, the parent or guardian will be called for pickup. If you have questions on when your child can return to school after illness, please call your school nurse. In the event of a positive case within Bledsoe County Schools, the classroom or areas exposed should be immediately closed until cleaning and disinfection can be performed. A decision will be made regarding a classroom or school building closure to allow for sanitation based on the information provided by the reporting party as to time, exposure to others, etc., applying those facts to Health Department guidance. If the building is closed, parents will be notified through the Bledsoe County School phone email notification system. Bledsoe County Schools will assist the Health Department with contact tracing as requested and needed. The Health Department will contact close contacts, those who spent more than 10 minutes within 6 feet to the students, so they can be quarantined at home. Classmates should continue to self-monitor for any symptoms. Students and parents should follow quarantine advice given by the Health Department. If a student within the class of a positive case has not been given quarantine advice but starts to exhibit any of the listed symptoms, that student should stay home and consider COVID-19 testing. After sanitation of the school and or classroom, students and staff not quarantined by a medical professional will be able to return to school. All students missing school for medical reasons should have an excuse on file in the main office. In my department, the nurses work closely with the Bledsoe County Department of Health. As you know, this is a fluid situation, and the information we are giving you today could change by tomorrow. We will try to update you as much as possible as time and situations change. The return of Bledsoe County sports.
Hey Bledsoe County community, this is Coach Dwayne Tabor over at Bledsoe County High School. We're having football practice as we speak. I wanted to give out an announcement to our community. Let's everybody be safe, do our part, and hopefully we'll have sports soon enough. September 18th is our target date for our first football game. If our state of emergency order lifts, we can play sooner than that. So hopefully our soccer team, our softball team, all our sports will be able to play soon. Volleyball, everybody. That's our goal in mind. Our football players have been doing a great job. We're keeping our weight room clean. We've got them spread out on the inside. We've got them spread out on the outside. And we got, we got a good group of kids, and they're looking forward to playing. So hopefully we'll hear that Go Warriors chant very soon. Thank you.
For more information, visit our website at bledsoecountyschools.org. Thank you.
Brought to you by Bledsoe Telephone Cooperative, your full-service telecommunications provider right here in the Sequatchie Valley.
All right, thank you for that. My name is Brian Turner. I'm the attendance supervisor here at Bledsoe County Schools. Just want to go over a few things with you to make sure everyone understands our first slide here. Try to understand the difference between homeschool and virtual school. Homeschool is an instructional program organized by you, the parent. It has to be done by you or through an umbrella school, okay? The virtual school will be done through Bledsoe County. You will stay enrolled in Bledsoe County Schools and still be part of our school district with that. So some of you parents that have looked at homeschool option things, please realize you can either go through an umbrella school and enroll that child through school that way, and they'll send us a request for records, or you can do an attempt to homeschool form where you will purchase the curriculum and you will provide all the instruction yourself. And you can find more about that on the Tennessee Homeschool website. All right, just to go over some deadlines and things with the virtual school application. Parents who choose virtual learning must apply by August 5th, 2020. That application is currently on our website. It's on social media right now. And that has to be completed if you're going to attend virtual school by this Wednesday on the 5th. Once a student is enrolled, they will remain virtual for the semester. However, a student may return to the traditional setting by contacting the building principal by September 8th by 3 o'clock. That means if you fill out and you get enrolled in virtual school and you start attending those first week or two, and something changes and you decide, hey, I want my child to come back in traditionally, you must contact your child's principal to that school, and then they will give you instructions about how we're going to get them moved back to the traditional setting. But that is the Tuesday after Labor Day. Any parent who would like to move their child from virtual learning to in-person classes for the second semester, so say you sign up and you do it through December, and you decide in January you're going to bring your child back into the traditional setting of the schools, you will need to notify your school's principal before December 4th with your intent to return. And that's just so we can get everything organized and get the kids placed back in their homerooms and their classes. And it says parents or guardians have a student in virtual learning that plans to withdraw from Bledsoe County school system for any reason should contact their designated school. The procedure for withdrawal will be explained to the parents, and all obligations such as turning in books, devices, or any other supplies must be completed. Transcripts will not be forwarded until all obligations are clear. Okay, so if you're deciding that you're going to remove and go to homeschool or go to a different county to a different program, you must contact the school and you must work through them to withdraw. If you're in virtual school, withdrawing from virtual school would be no different from withdrawing from Bledsoe County Schools if you were in the building. All right, removal from virtual school. Obviously, with this, we're going to have some guidelines and stipulations. We're going to go over a few of them. The first one, and Ms. Farrell will go over some of that on our academic side, but on the discipline. This is for academic integrity, or better words, some of them use is cheating. For the first offense, the 0 on the assignment, and the student will be notified, and the student can still complete the assignment to get feedback from the teacher, but they will not receive a grade. The second offense would be another 0 on the assignment, and the parent and student must have a conference with someone from your school about that. And then lastly, the third offense, the student may be removed from the virtual learning program. Attendance. I've got a whole section on attendance I'll go over, but I'll just let you know, if a student reaches level 3 in the truancy intervention process, the student may be removed from the Bledsoe County Schools virtual learning program. So just letting you know on that, that's 2 different ways that you could be asked to leave the program. All right, if a student is removed from the Bledsoe County Schools virtual learning for any number of reasons, parents will be notified in writing of the removal. If the student does not enroll with the LEA or register as a homeschool student within 15 days of being notified, then the student could be considered truant and be taken to court. So if something happens and you're removed, that doesn't remove your obligation for your child's compulsory attendance, which means you either have to enroll them in a homeschool program or you have to bring them back to the building traditionally if one of those take place. All right, I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Farrah Field. She's our curriculum and instruction and testing supervisor.
Okay, so first, the curriculum that we will be using in virtual school will be just like what your child would be getting if they were sitting in front of the classroom. So it will be our teachers, our curriculum, the same thing. Daily instruction will be provided through these platforms, Google Classroom, Zoom, or anything else that we've chosen to use, but right now those are the 2 main platforms. And like Mr. Turner said, students will be required to log in at 8 every morning. That doesn't mean that your child is showing as present for the full day. The assignments will still be required to be completed. There's different ways we'll take assignments through different, well, not different platforms, but what I'm trying to say is it may be virtually, we are seeing your child like on the Zoom setting, synchronously where we're all on there at the same time. It could be completing the assignment. It could be, if it's not all of us on there at the same time, later your child reviewing the video and then submitting something for that. So there's several ways that attendance can be taken. What I want to say with that is, just because you log in at 8 doesn't mean that you're present for the whole day. And not all CTE classes are offered virtually. Those that require SHOP will not be offered virtually. Okay, some examples of direct instruction. And direct instruction is like what I'm doing right now. I'm up in front of you speaking. I'm talking to you. That is what we consider direct instruction in a virtual setting. Synchronous, again, means that we're all seeing the same thing at the same time. Asynchronous means that something is videoed and you're going back and watching it later. So these are some of the ways that attendance could be taken, or some of the ways that your students are receiving direct instruction. Lessons with student engagement, actual discussion. That discussion may be the teacher calling your student up on the phone and speaking to them. That discussion could be through an email, it could be through a chat. There's different ways we can do that. And I have some sample schedules. These are not set in stone. These are just sample schedules of what a day might look like. I have an early childhood elementary sample, K-5. Maybe it'll roll up just a little bit, I don't know. So you can see from 8 to 10, we're spending a lot of time in the literacy block. We plan for physical activity. That could be through a PE person live with your student, or it could be through a recorded session with your student. It could be a recess. It just depends on what the teacher assigns there. Intervention will still be provided. Writing, which again goes back to the ELA block, or additional intervention if needed. A lunchtime. Then we have a math block. Then we have some science, I'm on that. We have some science exploratory time. That could also be some social studies, because a lot of our science and social studies in the early grades is put in with our ELA and science with math some. Then there are also some times for extensions, and then a well child check. That is something that the state has also told us that we have to do daily with your student. And a well child could mean several different things. You know, are there needs that you need transportation somewhere to pick up food, or transportation to pick up something that they need? Just how are they doing? You know, we know this is going to be hard on students because we want to see them. So this is going to be hard on them as well as us, because we want them in our buildings, because we want to see their beautiful faces. Okay, we want to scroll down to the middle school. Again, we have the ELA block, physical activity. Now you notice we're changing here because now we get into some science and social studies content. So it's not just ELA and math, we're going to bring in that science and social studies as well, where it could be synchronous. And when we talk about synchronous, this is a big important point. Even though it may say, like in the reading block, 8 to 10, that doesn't mean from 8 to 10 I'm going to be giving you direct instruction through video. The video could be a 30-minute video, and then there's going to be work. And then we could come back to a 15-minute video or something like that. So when we're talking about virtual, we're not talking about sitting in front of a computer for 8 hours a day with me talking to you. There's going to be work that is required here, and it's not all just listening to the teacher. Okay, and then if you want to show a high school example. I will say the high school is going to be probably the most video, because I think most of those are going to be as the student's schedule is now. If they were in virtual, their schedule will be just like that, and so they're going to be zooming in live with classrooms rolling. So that's going to be a little bit different at the high school level than it is the K-8 setting. So just know that. Okay, Mr. Reel, if you want to go back to the PowerPoint. This is the fun part, and the part that I dislike the most about my job is talking about testing. So let's be clear, we're talking about two different testing scenarios here. We're talking about one state mandated testing, meaning TCAP or EOC or any other state test that we have to give, okay? Those can only be done on site. There's no option, even if you're homeschooled and you request to test with us, you have to come in and meet our schedule, okay? So state mandated test, you have to come in. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. When you're in virtual learning, you're still enrolled as our students, you have to come in and test. In high school, there may be some classes in December that test, but for the most part, we test at the end of the year unless there's a block that is an ELC class that tests in December. Now, for daily testing or assessments in virtual, there may be a request by the teacher for your student to come in and take an assessment. I know you're thinking, well, that's the whole point of going virtual. But at the same time, we have to have some guidelines around grading and testing and things as well. So there may be a point where your student is asked to come in to the building physically. Will be social distance. It could be after hours where students are gone. There's so many things we still have to work out. But just know that that could be requested of you, that your student actually have to come in to take an assessment. for a class. I think that might be on mine. Nope, grades. Grading again, we were talking about grading, we're talking about it's the sole student's responsibility to complete any work. In a virtual setting, that's going to be hard to verify. We'll do our best to work with you as the parent and the student to verify those things, and we will be taking grades in several different ways. You will submit all that work through a Google Classroom, so all your paperwork that you're used to getting, you won't have. It'll be through electronic, everything will be. You will get progress reports and report cards just like normal. And then we're expecting you to monitor, of course, the students' grades. And we'll still have those weekly check-ins. You should still have access to Skyward. Well, not you will have access to Skyward where you can log in as well. If you don't have Skyward access, you can contact the main office at your school to get that. But I've also asked one of our, what I like to call our frontline workers, our teachers, to come and speak to those of you that are in the K-2 setting considering virtual school. Those K-2 students, for them to be readers by the time they get to 3rd grade, need 40 hours of phonemic awareness instruction alone. Phonemic awareness is the ability to hear sounds and to manipulate those sounds. That's before you ever get to putting a letter with the sound. If I were here videoing right now and you were at the other end of the computer, how many of you have ever done that and experienced some delay when you're watching something by computer in a video, or my mouth is not matching what you're seeing on the other end? That's what I'm talking about with K-2 instruction. It's going to be hard virtually. So I've asked one of our teachers to come and talk to you about the importance of K-2 instruction in person. So Miss Cindy Perry is going to come speak with us for a minute.
Excuse me. I don't know how many slides, I just have me. I'm starting my 25th year in kindergarten teaching kids the beginning parts of learning to read. And a lot of that is they need to see how to form the sound with their mouth. And they need to be able, and if you're doing the sound of B and P, you can't really hear the difference. You need to see the difference also. So that's a lot of our day is working with sounds, manipulating sounds, just the very basics. But if you were on the computer watching me and it lagged and we were doing 2 different sounds, you might be seeing me do one sound and I might be already moved on to the next one. Plus, a lot of our assessment in kindergarten, 1st and 2nd, is verbal assessments. Can they identify the sound? Can they manipulate the sound to form a word? And that is very hard to do without being in person. I know I was nervous about coming back to school. But now that I've seen all the stuff that we have in place in school, the temperature checks, all the adults with masks, the sanitation we're doing in our rooms, the separation, I feel comfortable coming back to school. And I think that is what K-2 students need, is in person.
Thank you, Ms. Cindy. My name is Carl One. I'm a special education supervisor as well as 504 coordinator. Ms. Cindy didn't have any slides. I only have one. But anyway, if your child currently has an IEP or 504 plan, you will need to make sure to contact their teacher, their case manager at school, or if you're not sure who that is, with the change in grades, just contact the front office and schedule a meeting to discuss what the services are going to look like virtually versus in person, okay? There's some options there, a lot of different options, but every child is different, so what it looks like for Mr. Ellis's child may be different than what it looks like for Mr. Turner's child. We can play scenarios out all day long. So anyway, the best way to do that though would just be contact the school and schedule a meeting. And that's all I have. Thank you. Okay. Oh, and I've been asked to inform you if anyone would like a translation to Spanish, we can make that available for you.
Good morning, I'm Jennifer Terry with Bledsoe County Schools Technology Department. We also have our two technicians here today, Mr. Junior Dunn and Mr. Chris Eichel in the back. And we will be here to assist you on any of your technology needs as we go virtual. We have also provided our email addresses. If you have any questions or concerns or anything that we can help you with, please feel free to email us. Okay, my first slide, or only slide, I'm like Carl, I have one slide. The devices that you will need for virtual learning, we provided you a handout when you came in. It lists all the devices that we are recommending for virtual school. This is also posted online and on our social media accounts. We'll be happy to answer any individual questions that you might have about a device after the meeting today, so feel free, myself, Mr. Dunn, or Mr. Eichel, we'll be happy to answer those questions. Okay, the next part of my slide is internet access, and we're lucky enough to have Mr. Ethan Lloyd with us today at Bledsoe Telephone. So I'm going to let Ethan, if he doesn't mind, to address about connectivity and what we recommend for your online learning. You're in the middle, may or may not need the mic.
I've contacted our IT department. If you're familiar with what the paperwork says, it says you need 5 meg download is what's recommended, at least 3 meg. DSL, we can support that, no problem. Anybody in any community can get 10 meg of download, and that's where your student, that's what you need for your student to be able to see your teacher. DSL technology only supports 1 meg of upload. So if you're still in a community that can't get fiber, and it's the 1 meg upload, we can work around that by turning off the video, because the video is really what takes up the bandwidth, so then the teacher may not be able to see your student, but they'll still be able to hear them, or your student will still be able to upload any of the text. So our company has assured the school system, we will work through the school system, with the school system, we will make this work. We will manage bandwidth and do whatever is necessary to make sure. And again, the download we can handle, so that's, if you've got multiple students, that's one other question. There are all going to be multiple devices. So if you need 3 meg of download for one video, you're going to need 6 meg for 2 students, 9 meg for 3. And again, we can still manage around the upload. The school system says that they can make that work as well.
We appreciate Bledsoe Telephone. They have partnered with us through this journey and have helped us out a lot, so we greatly appreciate Ethan and all the folks over at Bledsoe Telephone. Also, when you came in today, you received a responsible internet usage policy. We'll need this form signed and returned to the school system for every student who is enrolled traditionally or virtually. And this is part of the Children's Internet Protection Act of 2000. It's also known as SIPA. And this is to ensure that we do not have any offensive or inappropriate material coming across our internet service through the schools. And this helps us maintain our E-rate, which helps us provide internet service while here at school and when students are learning online and at school. Lastly, we have Skyward Access. As Ms. Farah addressed earlier today, all students will still need to log into Skyward. This is how parents and students will monitor your grades and your progress. If you do not have a Skyward account or you need your Skyward account reset, please email me, Mr. Dunn, or Mr. Eichel, or contact your child's school, and we will be happy to set that up for you.
All right, now I'm coming back to talk about attendance. Just to let you know, all attendance rules apply that apply when your child is in school traditionally in virtual school.
as Ms. Farrah talked about, there will be different ways we will be recording attendance virtually. Nonetheless, attendance will be recorded. Like she addressed, submissions of assignments, there could be online assessments, there could be the live streaming where your child is online saying here to the teacher on a video conference with all the students. But once again, just because they log in at 8 o'clock and tell the teacher here, that doesn't mean they get credit for all day. If they do not complete the assignments that go with it, they will get a absence for that day. Again, there'll be other evidence also that the principals may use to the teachers. And like we said, it's not solely based on assignment completion either. All right? Go ahead, Mr. Williams. All right? Attendance will be taken daily and all school attendance procedures will apply. Excuses must be submitted to your virtual teacher, whether electronically or delivered to the school within 5 days of the absence. This doesn't change from when you were in school. If your child missed school and you had took them to a doctor's appointment, you had 5 days to turn in that excuse. That's the same for here. If you have a day that, and again, you're still going to have to take your child to doctor's appointments, things like that, and they miss a day of virtual school, you can get it as an excused absence. You just have to submit that excuse. There are several ways to get that excuse electronically so you don't have to come in. But worst comes to worst, you can bring that excuse to the school and give to the attendance class. The Bledsoe County Schools Progressive Truancy Intervention Program will apply to all virtual students. Any student that reaches level 3 in truancy intervention program may be removed from the virtual school program. If you're not familiar with Progressive Truancy Intervention Program, state law, and if you go click on that state law that was on that other slide, it said any child in the state of Tennessee can miss no more than 5 unexcused days in one school year. So at our Progressive Truancy Intervention Plan, if you get to 5 days unexcused, you will be asked to come in and be entered into level 1 truancy. You will have to come in and schedule a meeting. We'll schedule a meeting with the virtual teacher, and we'll work and try to figure out some of the barriers and some of the reasons that your child has had those unexcused absences. The parents will be required to attend those meetings. Our level 2 truancy program or intervention comes if you violate the level 1 contract. And I can tell you guys, we've been in a lot of level 1 meetings, and the number one thing that we put on the stipulation is you can have no more unexcused absences. So if you're having a meeting with 5 unexcused absences and then you have one more and you're at 6, then you just went into level 2 truancy. Okay? Well, there'll be another meeting with the school. Will again be assessment. We'll have counselors that'll be doing assessments of the child to see if there's any other barriers or any other help or supports we can put in place to have them attend. And then lastly, our third level of truancy is if you violate level 2. And if you violate level 2, which again could just be one more unexcused day of absences. We have a disciplinary truancy board that myself, Ms. Rhonda Seals, and a member of DCS, and usually the principals or other administrators sit in on those meetings when you enter level 3. At that time, if it is the recommendation of that panel, they can recommend for your child to be removed from virtual school. Okay? And then lastly, if we violate our level 3 contract, then we go on and we go to juvenile court. And I've asked Ms. Seals to come speak today about what happens during juvenile court. But I do want you to understand, if you are removed from the virtual school program and you come back to school traditionally, your absences do not go away. They do not start over. You come back to school with the same amount of absences you had in virtual school. So just because you come back doesn't mean they're wipe free. So I'm going to let Ms. Seals talk to you about some of the things that happen in juvenile court and what some of the penalties can be for truancy. Thank you, Ms. Seals.
Good afternoon. I am Rhonda Seals. I'm the juvenile officer for Bledsoe County. I know a lot of you probably already know me. As Mr. Turner spoke about with the tiered meetings that we have or the levels of intervention, once you get to level 3, you already meet me because I am in that disciplinary board. We do a little, like a contract when you are there with your child. Everyone signs it, everyone in attendance. So if we have to go further than that with your child and you and get onto the court setting, the judge is provided with a copy of that. If everything works out and you don't have to go, that's it. It just goes into a file and it doesn't come back up. But if you do not, you
can't get your child to go to school, whatever the reason is, and that does go to court, the judge already sees all these things that has already been done. So, with that being said, once you come to court, it can be fine, probation, community service, variety of things based upon what level or what degree you're at. So these are just something that you need to consider because the court's not going away. So I hope everybody thinks about this in your consideration of what to do with your child. And if you have any questions, I'm always available at the courthouse to answer any questions.
All right, lastly, Miss Diane Campbell and Miss Christie couldn't be here today, so I just wanted to address meals. If you decide to enroll in the virtual program, we will still have meals provided, much like we did the grab and go during the summer. Meals will be provided to any student enrolled in virtual school for the Bledsoe County School Systems. Now, if you do decide to go homeschool, the way that it works, we'll not be able to give those meals. Your child will have to be enrolled in Bledsoe County Schools to receive those meals. A 5-day lunch and breakfast pack may be picked up on Wednesday evenings from 3:30 to 5 at Pikeville Elementary. I'm sorry I didn't have that on the slide, but you can pick those meals up at Pikeville Elementary for that, and you can pick up 1 week's worth on Wednesday evenings for virtual school. So she wanted me to relay that information. All right, lastly, I'm going to leave this up here for a few minutes and then we're going to move to questions. But if you can take a picture or scan this QR code, it will go to a survey that you can type in your students' names that will register your attendance for being. So if you've got a phone, you can snap a picture of that, or if you've got a barcode scanner, it'll take you straight to that. So,
everybody, I appreciate you coming. If you have any more questions, obviously everything's on the line. You can send us emails, and hopefully we answered all your questions. Again, we don't have all the answers, but we will try hard to find them. Thank you.